And welcome everyone to IOR Season 12. We are here today at Singapore for our third race of the season. It's gonna be our first night race in the calendar. And it's gonna be most likely the most challenging one so far. First we got Australia, then we got Japan, and now we go into the streets of Singapore. Like I said already, one of the most challenging tracks in the calendar. Introduced a new DRS zone recently in 2024. In 2023 the layout changed, but we didn't have the DRS yet. Kinda similar to Australia, where the changes were introduced in 2022. Then in 2023 the DRS got finally enabled to 4 DRS zones. Still a tricky track to overtake. Singapore, even though having 4 DRS zones will make it a little bit easier though. And well, we got some drivers already out to start their flying laps. We got less than 15 minutes to go. No time set so far. We got gonna go on board with Onian, who's recently signed up for the Haas team. He got a really good quali position last race. I think he got P4. Got unlucky in the start of the race, DNF'd after an incident in the start, bringing out a safety car. But today he's looking for revenge here in the street circuit of Singapore. He's gonna go now into the third DRS zone. Opens the DRS, has still a lot of ERS to deploy. He's gonna have that long straight now. Sika Loco sets the fastest time of the session. And well, he did had a quali ban as well. He is not obeying the rules, so unfortunately gonna be a disqualification of the race. Like happened with Omar last week, and yeah, need to read a little bit more the information in the Discord. Now Equasar sets the fastest lap. 28.7, seemed like he had a chance to win in Japan last week, but seems like he couldn't control the tire degradation. Now Onion moves up to P3 at 30.7, not a great lap time for Onion there. Now we go with Motorway, crosses the line and up to P4, 32.3, very high time. His teammate Pitbull goes 1 second quicker with a 31.0. Pitbull on P4 so far, 3 tenths behind Onion. Then Sika 6 tenths in front, and Equasar 1.4 seconds ahead of Sika Loco. Singapore, it's a track that we can see big differences in qualifying. I know that from experience. Now we go on board with one of the fastest drivers in the league. That would be Luca. Following Luca, who finished last race in the podium after having to serve a qualifying ban. Coming into the finish line, it's going to be a 30.1. Also not a great lap time by him. Equastar dominating the session by a lot so far. We'll see what other drivers can do. We go on with Fossey now. Man, that's currently in P5 if I'm not wrong in the standings. Has done maybe not the best results, but has been scoring points consistently. And that has made him move up into that position in the standings. Now Buba moves up into P2, a 29.6 for the McLaren driver, coming back after Australia. Couldn't race last week in Japan. Now Fossey's gonna get a little slipstream there from his teammate from Maha, who's actually a reserve driver, who got a really good result last week. I think it was P6 on debut, which is a pretty decent result. Now we follow Fossey into the end of his lap, following the Merc driver into the last couple of corners. Equasar still dominating the session. We follow now Fossey is gonna come into the final corner. In the line he goes. It's a 29.3. 6 tenths lower than Equasar. Equasar still dominating by a lot this qualifying session. We'll see what Omar can do. Also known for being one of the quickest drivers in the league. Will come now into the line. It's gonna be a 29.0. Equasar still dominating over everyone else. 3 tenths the gap between Equasar and his competence today, and his rivals today. Maybe I didn't use the correct word. In Spanish it is said correctly, I guess, but in English maybe not. Let's go now with the championship leader, with Joseph Vesely. The man in the Haas, leading the championship by around 7 points ahead of Infinity, who unfortunately won't be able to race with us for a while. So that also means Joseph has now a very comfortable lead in the standings to his rivals. But of course there's still 10 more rounds to go, counting this one. So he's gonna need to keep being consistent, maybe try and win some more races if he wants to take that second championship in his IOR career. We follow now Joseph Vesely into the line. What time is he going to be able to do? Moves up to P5, 29.6. Decent lap time, though. He's going to need to improve that if he wants to fight for the podium, or maybe try and fight for the win once again. And Dino's still in the pit lane now, is coming out for a flying lap. The man in the Ferrari that also missed round 2, coming back here stronger and, well, trying to score solid points today. I'm personally a big Dino fan. Teamed with him a lot of seasons in this championship. So definitely supporting him, and hopefully he is going to do a good race today. It's always good to see Dino scoring good results. Let's not forget this man hasn't won in around 5 years. Could be 6 if he doesn't manage to win this season or the next one. I really hope he wins someday again. And, well, I haven't lost my faith in that. But currently, On and Out Lab's gonna have 2 runs in qualifying. Most people not on a flying lap at the moment, most saving their time in the pit lane. They're gonna go out for their second run now. Bialo, Duki, Wilco, and Welb have to serve their quali bans. Sika didn't serve his quali ban, so he's gonna already been disqualified from the race unless he disqualifies himself from quali, but I don't think he's gonna do that. But then, well, Bialo, Duki, Wilco waiting in the pit lane. Welb already retired the car. So this 4 drivers following the rules this time. With the quali bans last week, remember 2 drivers didn't follow the rules and unfortunately were disqualified from the race. Omar, who was fighting for the win actually, and even if he started at the back, he would have still probably done a really good race. We know how quick Omar can be. Fossey is getting in contention in this race, seems like 29.3. It's really good to see how we can get totally different challengers for the win every single week. We had Charlie, who unfortunately hasn't been able to race with us after Australia, winning the race starting from P2. Then we get Joseph Vesely, who won last week in Japan starting from P12, a massive comeback. Now today Equator seems to be the man to beat so far. We'll see how it ends up after qualifying is over, but yeah, you never know. Singapore is also a track where we can get a lot of safety cars, so that also can be a thing. Equator improving already nearly 2 temps in only the first sector, which is not a sector that you can actually improve a lot. Now he goes over the bump, might have lost a little bit of time there. Equator's also a man chasing for his first IOR win. Just had the bad luck to have to face a lot of aliens. Aliens, of course, extraterrestrial drivers with crazy pace in the past, and even though being really quick, could never win, did have to race against those crazy drivers like Cucumber, like Baraka. Baraka, I think you're there in the stream, so hello my good friend. Like Thales, really quick drivers that were very hard to defeat in their best times. And yeah, Quasar had to race against them many times. He had really good pace but couldn't defeat them in some specific races where he could have been the race winner, but yeah, things just weren't in the place for him to win. Now Quasar's gonna board the lap. He's gonna come into the pit lane. Now this could allow Omar, who's improving 3 temps already, seems like. Yeah, he's definitely gonna be taking the lead there in qualifying. Following now Omar, who's Lucanau's moved up into P3 as well. 40 thousandths behind his teammate. Here comes Omar into the middle of Sector 2, actually the end of Sector 2 nearly, is going to enable DRS for the final time. Well, the penultimate time is the final detection point, but it's not the last DRS zone, because we still got one more DRS zone here at the end of the lap. Improving 3 temps, I think couldn't find big improvement in Sector 2. Still's gonna match Equasar's time. Equasar just needs to put a clean lap in the end, and I think he could well have pull on the bag. if he doesn't mess up. But that's part of Singapore. Singapore is a very difficult track to be able to keep it consistent and clean through all the lap. Now Omar moves up into P1, 3 times quicker than a Quasar. Quasar now is gonna need to have a blasting final lap in his qualifying session. Pitbull has retired from the session. Has he crashed out in some part of the track? I think he's retired in the pit lane. I don't know why. Maybe saving tires for the race. Let's go now with Joseph Vessel improving 4 temps in Sector 1. Massive improvement there by Joseph. Still gonna need to improve much more if he wants to take pole position today. At the moment, Joseph hasn't shown a great pace on Singapore. Clint, I know you retired. I didn't say you retired on track. I didn't see, mate. You don't need to... Don't get excited, mate. It's fine. I didn't... You could have crashed. I wasn't saying you retired purposely on track, and I know you didn't. But I just didn't see in the map at the moment. I'm not blaming you for anything, mate. Well, let's go back into qualifying then. Fossey, who... and Joseph Vesely couldn't complete the lap. Now we're going on with Fossey, who's trying to improve a little bit more. Well, Fossey coming in the pit lane as well. Pitbull says, I don't know why it shows the yellow flag when you're on the pits and retire. Weird game. Well, every time someone retires, the game shows the yellow flag. We get a message from Rocha, who says, let's go Sica Locos, supporting the Brazilian driver. Equastar surprisingly changing into the medium tires. No, that was a little bit of... I don't know, I think that was maybe Quasar, I don't know what was he maybe doing there in the pit lane. But anyway. Bialo is... oh, please don't set a lap. Well, I guess he's just testing. Hopefully he's just testing. Well, he's gonna come into the pit lane and yep. He will then serve the quali ban. Dino is on an out lap now, currently at 29.8 for the... It's a 29.8 for Dino Bino Bambino. He is 1.4 seconds behind the pole position time. Well, though he's close to the guys in front, can try and get a really good result in qualifying. Maybe a top 10 would be good for him, already in the top 10. Can try and improve that a little bit more. For sure. Equastar now on an out lap is gonna try and retake that P1 spot. At the moment it's a 1-2-3 for the Red Bull and the Racing Bull. Well, basically for the Red Bull family. Omar and Luca. Omar that hasn't been able to score points yet for different reasons. Equastar who's currently with 20 points in the standings and Luca with 25. This three looking really strong today to fight for the win. Probably will get more people involved in the battle for the race win today. Like, we know IOR can bring a lot of surprises. It's Singapore. We don't know if it's gonna be wet in the race, maybe. We don't know how many safety cars we may have. It's a street circuit, one of the most challenging ones. So, strategy is gonna be key. Let's not forget, it's not easy to overtake around here. And well, Joseph Vesely, the championship leader at the moment, with not a great position for his aspirations as a champion contender. He's fighting for the championship, so he for sure will want to get a little bit more than that. We will go now with Dino, following him in the beginning of his final quali lap, getting a little slider into the exit. Oh, gets a little banger into the wall there. Is he gonna board the lap? Doesn't look like he... No, he's aborted the lap, definitely. Maybe he's got a little bit of wing damage. Is he gonna be... Does he have time to do another lap, is the question. I'm really not sure. Let's go on with Onian. The man making his debut for the Haas team. First race as a full-time IOR driver. Following him into Sector 1. It's gonna go into the same corner that Dino just had his mistake. Got a little bit slidey there with the car. No, Dino won't have time to do another lap, unfortunately. We go on with Onian into the end of Sector 1, improving 1/10 his previous lap time. Following Onian through the beginning of Sector 2. A little bit of oversteer, I think, but managed to control it very nicely. Let's go then with the guys fighting for pole position. We go with Luca, improving 1 second. No. He is still on the beginning of his lap. That would have been very, very exaggerated. Bubas crossed the line. He's not improved. Then we get RPM moves up to P5. Great final lap by the Ferrari driver. Now Luca improves 1/10. He will need to find 6 tenths to move up into P1. A Quasar there into the end of Sector 2. Needs to get a clean wrong now. Taps a little bit there the inside curb. Who's going to be taking pole position today? It's going to be very, very interesting to see. Baraka says, I say Quasar pole goes to Omar's same lap time. Quasar improving 2/10. Is getting close into getting that pole position time. Needs to find 1 more tenth in the final sector. Where is Omar though? Omar's invalidated. Omar's invalidated the lap. Quasar just needs a perfect final sector. Foss is moved up to P3. Here comes the Quasar into the final corner. Can he get pole position today? No! Misses by 1/10. It's gonna be Omar in pole position. Or can Luca do anything about it? Luca improving 4/10 is gonna be way too far from it. The Quasar missed a little bit there of time into the final sector. Here comes Luca in the line. Where can he get? Moves up to P3 if I'm not wrong. And that's gonna be Omar taking his first pole position of the season in Singapore, a track where it's crucial to be on pole. So hello Baraka, my good friend. It's great to see you back in our Twitch chat. And well, you missed in Equasar being on pole position, but still the 3 you mentioned are in the top 3 spots. Like it was most likely gonna happen. And well, it's a big gap actually from the top 2 compared to the rest. Well, Luca is a little bit close as well, but Equasar and Omar have shown great pace compared to everyone else. Baraka says, so close, GG's. And it's time for our first night race of the season. Welcome back to IOR. Today we are at Singapore at the Marina Bay Street Circuit for round 3 of IOR Season 12. One of the most challenging tracks in the calendar we will have this season. It's gonna be 31 laps of racing around here in the new layout introduced in 2023, giving us 1 more DRS zone, which will make overtaking a little bit easier. It's of course, like I already said, a very challenging track. It's very easy to pick up damage or even DNF by yourself by a single mistake, clipping that wall, and could be game over for you. And of course, if you get involved with other drivers, it's gonna make it very, very chaotic, bringing out possibly a lot of safety cars. Let's have a nice look at the streets of Singapore, a beautiful view of the racing track. Now let's go with some of the old clips. Here we have a battle for the lead in Season 9 between Cucumber and Thales, championship rivals that season. Thales will make the move around the outside on fresher intermediate tires. Cucumber making a strategy mistake there by not pitting under safety car. Now another championship fight between Cucumber and Baraka in Season 2 long time ago. Championship rivals will go side by side there. And finally Cucumber will get ahead but will lose the race on time penalties. Now pure carnage in Season 3 between Donnie and Yanni, as you will see. There you go, a big accident bringing out immediately a safety car. Now Cucumber doing a dive down the inside on Sophie on that same race later on. Who's gonna win today? We already have 2 winners this season. Are we getting a 3rd one today? Well, was watching the stream a little bit, watching the intro as well. Anyway, we move now into the race, and as you can see, we get everyone basically on the same strategy. It's only going to be Maha who's going to be on the hard tires. So I guess everyone is betting on a safety car, which of course could well happen. It's Singapore, a track that I guess in real life has probably had a safety car in nearly every edition of the race. I guess in 2025 there wasn't one, was there? I think there wasn't. I don't remember if there was one in lap 1, probably not. And I think there wasn't one in 2024 as well. Well, it's gonna be an interesting fight between the Red Bulls and Quasar. We'll see who else can get involved in the mix for the fight for the win of the race. Of course, let's never discard Joseph Vesely, the man that already has won starting in P12. Of course, it's gonna be much more difficult to win starting from P8 in a track like Singapore. Baraka says Omar P1, Ghost P2, Luca P2, and Joseph P3. Well, betting on Joseph Vesely to finish on the podium. And I think that's a really good bet, because Joseph is a very consistent driver, like we know. Even in maybe sometimes he even might not have the pace, maybe in qualifying, he still has great racecraft and can manage to take race victory. Let's get some information off the track. There you can see the previous winners of the race. Bertoso in Season 1, Baraka in Season 2, Cucumber in Season 3, Thales in Season 9, and Srivatsa on Season 11. No one has repeated win in this track, and today we are gonna get a new winner as well in Singapore. Checo says my top 3 is Omar, Luca, and Quasar. Well, the race about to start. Here come the lights. Lights out and away we go! Omar gets a really good start. Good launch off the line there by Omar. Equasar will stay in second place. Now it's going to be a battle between these two. Joseph Vesely already getting past RPM. Moves up into P7 of the race. Is going to try and attack Buba now. But Buba's going to get better traction, or is he not? Side by side goes Joseph and Buba. Around the outside goes Joseph Vesely. Needs to be careful in here. Oh, little banger there. Nothing happens with Omar. Omar manages to hold the lead easily. Now it's a battle between Joseph, Buba, and RPM. RPM getting involved in the fight. RPM trying to move all the way around the outside. Wants the place back from Joseph Vesely. Now Joseph may have to back off here. He's gonna try and hold into his position. Yes, he will. Good fight there from Joseph and RPM by Buba as well. It's very tricky to go side by side cleanly around Singapore. Bialo getting a good start, moving up into P12 as well. Now Bialo attacking Maha for P12 of the race. Maha gets a little bit scared, doesn't want to fight so hard as well, being on the hard tires. Welf has hit the wall, I think, there. Probably has minor wing damage. Now sending a move there on Dino Bambino. Dino Bambino gets a little bit tapped there. A little bit of aggressive driving seen there at the back of the grid. Luca's fallen down into P5. Not a great start there from Luca. So lost 2 places against Revenge and Fossey. It's Racing Bull 2-3 at the moment. Could be solid points for the team. Revenge missing a little bit his breaking point there. Now it's a fight for the win between Quasar and Omar. There goes Luca. Oh, he's coming in the pit lane. Yeah, wing damage there from Luca at the very beginning of the race. Very, very unlucky. And Luca's retired in the pit lane. Luca retires from the race in the pit lane. Maybe had 2 very bad damage that he couldn't continue. Well, that's gonna mess up the prediction of Chekos, who said Luca was gonna finish in P2 in the race. Now it's a clear battle at the moment between Omar and Quasar for the race win. Also, hello Chekos, good to see you back in the commentary box as well. Couldn't say hello in the appropriate way, but yeah, nice to have you there in the commentary chat as well, and hope you're enjoying this Singapore GP. A race, of course, that always gives really good action. We get a yellow flag. That's Dookie at the back of the grid, having a little incident there. We got a battle between Dino and Pitbull there. Down the inside goes Dino Bambino. Makes the move. Moves up to P13 of the race. Well, doesn't seem to have wing damage, does he? Maybe has minor end plate damage. Nah, Chekos, don't say that, don't say that. You don't bring bad luck to anyone, mate. It's racing. Those things can happen. Those things can happen in racing. It's not, doesn't have to do anything with you, mate. Well, Fossey's got the move done against Revenge. Now the Merc driver moves up into P3 of the race. Booba follows the train. It's a 3-car train for the podium here. Oh, now it's Revenge going a little bit wider. Thanks for the follow, mate Baraka. We have now a battle between Revenge and Booba. They're into turn 1-0. There is a little bit of banger of wheels. Booba making a little bit of an optimistic dive against him. No, Revenge assumes he was at fault there. Now he lets him go and might try and retake the place, though let's not forget Singapore. It's a hard track for overtaking. Meanwhile, Omar and the Quasar have extended their lead to already 4 seconds to Fossey. It's only a battle between these two so far, and well, Revenge could maybe work a little bit for his teammate here. Maybe backing up the grid a little bit if he feels he doesn't have the pace. Fossey has quickly opened the gap against Booba as well. Well, also thanks to the fight between him and Revenge. Dookie has retired from the race, our second DNF of the race. Didn't want to continue. Both DNFs so far been in the pit lane. Bialo's having a really good race at the moment. And now Maha, let's not forget he been on the hard tires, is gonna get really good tires in a couple of laps. Equasar follows Omar for the lead of the race. This is the battle for the win at the moment. Battle between a Red Bull and a Racing Bull driver. Probably Equasar's not gonna attack Omar so aggressively yet. He's gonna probably try and save his time. Checo says, great to see you as well, David. Happy to watch your race on live stream. Finally, we'll have fun for surely. It's also great to have you back, mate, at least in the commentary box. Of course, always hoping to have you back on track sometime, which I guess sometime may happen, and I still believe it will happen. And yes, it's been a very fun race so far. We got Whelp in the pit lane as well. He's gonna try and replace the front wing, I guess. It's very early to go for an undercut, I guess. Revenge trying to stick into the back of Booba, unable to do so at the moment. Is gonna be attacked by RPM soon. We're getting battles everywhere on track at the moment. Bialo losing a little bit of time to the train in front of him. RPM trying to attack Revenge for P5 of the race. Going on now with RPM. The battle between RPM and Revenge seems that's gonna last for a while. It's a 5-car train in here. Bialo might join the train as well. A big undercut could happen in here. I could see Joseph thinking about one. He's, let's not forget, he's really smart driver. Baraka says David is cooking. Thanks, mate. Really appreciate that you're enjoying my stream, that you are enjoying this Singapore GP. And also says, yo, Chekos, what's up, bro? Good to see you, mate. My first stream as well. And, well, it's nice to see the old school guys in the chat. Oh, and it's Revenge losing a lot of positions there. I don't know why he slowed down so much. Maybe has a little issue there with the car. Like I said, it's good, very good to see the old school guys in the chat once again. The guys from the very, very beginning of the league. Like Baraka and Chekos. Now we see Joseph Vesely is going to be attacking RPM for P5 of the race. Joseph's going to try and get the move done all the way around the outside, though it's going to be very complicated to make it nice and clean. RPM leaves the space for Joseph Vesely. What a move there by Joseph. Manages to take the places. Joseph already up into P5 of the race. Like I said, Joseph, a very consistent driver, a driver with great racecraft. Probably can manage to get a podium today. Now he's going to try and chase after Booba and Fossey. At least I could see. Baraka, you could get your prediction right, my friend. If Joseph manages to get past Booba and Fossey, which at the moment is closing a little bit the gap against Booba already. I don't know what's the issue with Revenge, but he seems to have some type of problem. Maybe minor wing damage or something after the contact with Booba. Or some damage in some part of the car. There goes Maha getting the move done against Bialo. Like I said before, those hard tires would start working very well at some point. Now those hards start to show up on track. Bialo gonna get in a battle between Dino, Bino, Bambino. This is also a classic fight in IOR. Bialo versus Dino. Definitely want to see this duel once again. Let's go now on board with Dino Bino Bambino, who's going to be attacking Bialo very soon. Bialo, who's still trying to stick to the back of Maha to get a little bit of pace. There goes Sika, trying to get the move against Revenge all the way around the outside. Runs out of pace, but now it's going to get a nice switch back in here. And, well, thanks to Revenge not having DRS, could be a good move here from Sika into the second DRS zone, I'm sorry. There goes Sika down the inside. It's got the move done. A nice move there by Sika Revenge. Oh, bang gear of wheels there between both drivers. Hopefully no damage to any of them. Bialo versus Dino here. A good battle there between Dino. Oh, Dino having a little bit of contact there with Bialo. That's gonna allow. Wilco got past there. Wilco, who had to start at the back, now is gonna be attacking. He's gonna be attacking Bialo. Checo says the has do is a very interesting one, and yes, you're right. Onions also managed to get a good amount of places in here. Onions moved up to P3 already of the race. It's a good recovery from both Haas drivers. Also great debut race for him as a Haas full-time driver, I can say. Wilco's gonna be attacking Bialo for P11 of the race. A dive there down the inside, but has a little slider in the braking point. Baraka says, haha, Joseph, don't let me down. Let's go. 2 more overtakes to go. And yeah, Joseph's nearly in Buva's DRS. Revenge coming into the pit lane. I guess he is gonna fix the damage. I guess it was undrivable. That car is gonna now go and place fresh hard tires, I guess, unless it's aiming for a 2-stop strategy. Doesn't seem to have wing damage actually. Maybe was just struggling a lot on the tires. Let's not forget it's a high degradation track. Actually, Joseph has been overtaken by RPM once again. A yellow flag there, and it's Bialo. Bialo has had a spinner there, and oh, very unfortunate. Bialo having a broken wing now. Well, Bialo, if you're listening to me, please don't DNF. Come into the pit lane, fix the wing, and keep going, mate. Joseph Vasily closing the gap once again to RPM. Checo says, no, Bialo. Well, fortunate for Bialo, still can't get a very good race in the IOR after his comeback. I think Hungary, who was his first race last season, was probably his best race. He's trying to control the car. I don't know how the accident happened. I don't know if he... Oh! Oh! What is that? That's a safety car for sure. It isn't. It isn't a safety car. Omar's in the... How is that not a safety car? How is that not a safety car? That was 100% a safety car. There's no way that wasn't a safety car. Bro, this game is so unrealistic. That was 100% a safety car. No way how you see it. That was a safety car, 100%. Well, Omar's coming to the pit lane, and maybe got a little bit lucky here because now the safety car would have helped Equasar a lot, but it didn't come out. But actually, Equasar is in a great position now if he can manage the tires, opposite to what happened in Japan last week. Because let's not forget, Omar spitted very, very early today, so... Let's not forget Omar has spit very, very early, meaning he will most likely have to stop again. I don't see those hards making it to the end of the race. Meanwhile, Equasar doesn't have to worry about an undercut because he has an 11, nearly a 12-second gap to Fossey. Omar needs to deal now with traffics, now right at the back of Dino Bino Bambino. This shouldn't be a hard move from Omar. Dino is of course on worse tires. Probably Dino will not put a challenge against Omar. Omar's now gonna try and get the move all the way around the outside. I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing of that crash of Bialo. Well, Fossey's in the pit lane now. Equasar, like I said, was gonna extend, definitely had to do that. And now Equasar with a 14-second gap in the lead of the race. Omar is gonna be right at the back of Wilco. Most likely it's not gonna be getting the overtake done there into the next DRS zone. He's just too far, and Wilco's gonna be on the DRS of Sika. EA Sports says Chekos. Buva getting overtaken by RPM. Now Buva's gonna send the move down the inside of RPM, nearly banging wheels. Joseph Vesely and Onion on the attack as well. Joseph Vesely needing to be very, very careful there. Also, let's say this is not helping Omar a lot. Omar who still needs to get past the both guys ahead of him. Wilco and Sika, which are both on DRS. So it's gonna be a little bit of a problem here for Omar. I think he made a mistake in pitting unless those tires were totally dead and didn't have another option. Now let's see how Omar is gonna deal with the traffic in here. We got Buva attacking RPM. Oh, he taps RPM, and that's gonna make Joseph move up into P3 of the race. RPM being very aggressive there with... no, Buva being, I think, very aggressive with RPM there. Now Omar right at the back of Wilco and Sika Loco. Sends a dive down the inside. Wilco, of course, will not fight him. He knows he's on the worst tires right now. Buva coming into the pit lane. Joseph Vesely now up into P2 of the race. And it's a Haas 2-3 right now. Great result for the Haas guys at the moment, but the gap is now 17 seconds. The Quas are very happy with how this is going at the moment. Now I wonder if Joseph is gonna start to create a DRS train with Onion here and try and stick into this position. Maybe do a Science 23 strategy. Baraka says, let's go Joseph, cheering there for the Sech driver that at the moment stands in a podium position. RPM, I'm not sure if he has any wing damage, but probably there's gonna be a report between RPM and Buva. Dino Bino Bambino closing the gap now to his teammate. Wilco's already moved up to P7 of the race. Omar right at the back of Maha. Shouldn't be a difficult move here for Omar against the Mercedes driver. He's probably gonna try and send it here down the inside. He will send it down the inside. Maha, very mature move by him, not fighting against him, knowing he's on the worst tires. Omar already up into P4 of the race. And actually, oh surprise, Joseph Vesely seems to have a little bit better pace than Equasar? I don't know. It's gonna be interesting what the decision's gonna be between the Haas guys. Joseph seems to be struggling a little bit there with the tires. I don't know if he's gonna come into the pit lane. No, he stays out. He thinks the one-stopper is the better strategy. Maybe he's gonna try and do a Science 23 strategy to keep Omar behind. Let's not forget these two probably are gonna be direct rivals for the championship at some point. Wilco battling against Sika down the inside. Wilco moves up to P6 of the race. Fossey starts to make moves up ahead of Pitbull. Now Onion against Omar. Is Onion gonna try and defend here against Omar? Is he not? Omar is gonna easily get the move done there down the inside. Nothing Onion could do about it. Now it's gonna be the battle between him and Joseph Vesely. What's Joseph's strategy gonna be now? Joseph may be attacked by Omar into the next corner. Omar, you did that move on me last season, I remember. But this time it's not gonna go for the move. Now Joseph Vesely having a little slider. He's trying to survive with the tires. Omar, is he gonna try and send a dive there down the inside of Joseph Vesely? Yes, he will, but oh, gets a little slide. Omar gets a little slider, is losing time against Joseph Vesely now. Joseph's not gonna put a fight on him. He knows he doesn't need to fight him right now. Locks up a little bit the tires, goes a little bit deep, but finally Omar's back into P2 of the race. After a lot of struggles there at the back of him, having to face those. And now Quasar leading the race, 18 seconds behind Omar, in front of Omar, I'm sorry. It's a very interesting Singapore GP. Now both Haas guys will stay out to extend that tire a little bit more. Meanwhile, we got RPM battling against Wilco for P7 of the race. Wilco and Sika Loco having a fierce fight here. Baraka says, mate, looks like one stop is faster. Omar can't catch 18 seconds surely. And yeah, I agree with you there, mate, because in any case, most likely Equasar will pit by around lap 14 at least. If mediums can make it 14 laps, they easily can make the rest of the race on the hards. And Omar at least maybe can close up the gap to around 12 seconds from now till when Equasar pits. But I don't really see Omar making it to the end on those hard tires, or at least Equasar will probably catch at some point. The gap's not going to be that big. Now Joseph starts extending the gap to Onian by a little bit. Now Joseph Vesely 9 tenths in front of his teammate. Wilco, Sika, RPM and Dino fighting here for P6 of the race. It's a 4-car train for P6. Meanwhile, Maha's tires should start working at some point, but still not closing up the gap to the Haas guys. And Equasar will extend his stop for one more lap. Equasar that believes pitting is not the correct strategy yet. Joseph Vesely suffering a lot on those medium tires, but he believes staying out is the right call, same as Onian. I don't know if these guys have spoken about strategy, probably not, because they are just new as teammates. So it's most likely, I don't know who's gonna pit the first of these guys. But now Joseph starts building the gap against his teammate. It's already a 1.9 gap between the Haas guys. This should be enough to make it safe for any of these two to pit. Anyway, if Onian pits, he's gonna be in front of his teammate Joseph. If Joseph pits, of course, Onian will know he doesn't need to come in that same lap. RPM now fighting against Sika for P7 of the race. Wilco is doing, I have to say, a massive race. A massive comeback race. After starting at the back due to the quali ban. We got a yellow flag. Who is that? Smaha. Smaha lost a place there to Wilco. That's one more place won by the kick driver. That's now 4.6 behind Onion. And does he even maybe have the pace to chase after the Haas guys? Well, Equasar now finally pits lap 13. Is gonna need to do 18 laps, I guess? Yeah, I guess 18 laps on the hards towards the end of the race. Now Omar will retake the lead. Joseph Vesely is coming into the pit lane as well. Onion will have to stay out. Now it may be key for Equasar to come out in front of Onion. Well, it's not gonna be possible. Onion's gonna be... Well, Onion being way too in front actually will be good for Equasar because he... Let's not forget, he's gonna have clean air, so being actually 5 seconds behind Onion is great for Equasar. Now he needs to close up 14 seconds to the race leader on the hard tires, on fresher tires. Will he be able to do it? Will Omar be able to make it to the end of the race in those hards? Is a very good question to ask. Sika Loco and RPM battling here for P4 of the race. Now RPM's got the move done. Dino is in the pit lane as well, gone for the undercut, same as Wilco. Joseph Vesely now is gonna need to close up the gap to Whelp and Revenge. Revenge battling against Buva. Buva on a bit fresher tires and probably on tires in better conditions as well, now being hards, which are of course the better tire to be on in this track, in any track basically. Fossey right at the back of RPM on fresh tires. RPM still to make his stop. It's cost him the Mercedes driver a little bit of time. Let's not forget Fossey's also in the battle for the podium. Is he gonna try and send a move? No, he's actually struggling against the driver on older tires. Well, Fossey having some issues here, but probably RPM is gonna come into the pit lane. He does come. Onion comes into the pit lane. RPM into the pit lane as well. Making finally their pit stops. Now Equasar 14 seconds behind Omar. It doesn't seem to be closing the gap. But yeah, the thing is gonna be if the tires will last to the end or not. Now Joseph Vesely on P7 of the race will need to close up the gap into, well, needs a lot of work to do for our championship leader to manage to make it into the podium today. Dino making the undercut against his teammate, currently sits on P10 of the race. Well, let's not forget Whelp and the Revenge still have to pit again. We got a battle there between RPM and Sika, both on fresh hard tires. Getting a little bit aggressive both drivers. There goes RPM, a little bit of an optimistic move by him. That may allow Pitbull to get the move done, and he does get the move done. RPM now is going to be suffering against Maha. Maha thinks about a move around the outside there. Maha, oh, hits the wall there. That probably a broken front wing. No, he actually doesn't have any damage from it. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Well, Equasar now starts closing a little bit the gap, seems like. From 14 seconds to 13.8. Of course, it's not a big difference. But the important thing is that with while the laps go past, he probably is gonna get closer and closer. We have to see how it's gonna end towards the final lap of the race. Joseph nearly at the back of Whelp. Now Equasar starts flying. It's a 13.5. He's closing up a lot in this sector of the track. Now it's gonna be a battle between Wilco and Onion. Wilco seems to have better pace than the Haas driver that pitted a little bit later. Of course, Wilco could get a little bit help from the undercut, and now it's going to be right at the back of him. Also, Onion's already lost 3 seconds to his teammate. Dino, meanwhile, not battling against anyone at the moment, but's on a solid P9 of the race so far. Booba racing on his own, Fossey racing on his own as well. Equasar closing up the gap by a lot, closed up a whole second in the last lap. Now is when he needs to start pushing. Omar's tires will start suffering. Joseph Vesely gets the move done against Whelp. Maracas' crazy undercut from Joseph won nearly 3 seconds on Onion, and yeah, that's true. Joseph undercut gave him a big help there. Also because if not, he would have had traffic from his own teammate if Onion pitted before him, but it was a good call from the Haas team in general. Now the thing is that Onion's under pressure from Wilco, and yeah, could lose the position depending on maybe the pace Wilco will show in the coming laps. Revenge has left the session, though let's not forget he needs to retire in the pit lane. I'm gonna invite him very, very quickly to join the lobby back. Well, I couldn't find his name. Well, Onion's got past now. Onion getting past there. Whelp. Well, seems that Revenge has had unfortunately a issue with his PS. So will not be able to join back the race, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Joseph Vesely is now on a charge. He's gonna be chasing after Buva. 6 seconds separate these two. Joseph seems to have the better pace. And of course has the better tires. His teammate Onion with the better tires also managing to keep a very good pace. Whelp now defending against Wilco. Checo says, keeping an interesting look on tire durability is a key because otherwise you'll catch up in a bad situation without the unexpected events. Now there goes Wilco around the outside, gets the move done against Whelp, moves up to P7 of the race, and is gonna keep trying his chase against Onion. Now lost a little bit of time there with Whelp, and now he's gonna try and close up the gap. Meanwhile, Equasar already now 10.7 seconds behind Omar. Whelp gets a 10-second time penalty for spinning in the pit lane. That's very unlucky for the Aston Martin driver. He's gonna come very behind as well. But yeah, can serve the penalty later if maybe a safety car happens. And it's actually been crazy that there's been no safety car in this race so far. Even when that crash from Bialo should have been a 100% safety car, but thanks to EA we didn't get one. Oh, Revenge managed to join back the lobby, thankfully, though he's very far behind. Safety car would save him, of course. Oh no! Omar's got a 10-second time penalty for spinning in the pit lane. Oh, that's very, very unlucky, but yeah, it's his fault as well, but yeah, unlucky still, but yeah, it's his responsibility. Got maybe a little bit ambitious there, and now it's gonna be very, very tricky that he manages to win this race. Let's not forget he not only needs to close the gap to Equastar, but also needs to... And he's gonna lose the place to Fossey as well, which makes it even worse. Gonna get a little bit of traffic in here. Well, could we be on for Equastar's finally first win in IOR? That could be, but now Omar, well, has complicated himself in today's race. Of course he can still get a podium, but... it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to win the race, I'm sorry. Podium should be easy because he has the fresher tires and has a good gap anyway to the other rivals, but he needs to close up basically 15 seconds to Equasar in less than that number of laps, which would mean closing up more than 1 second per lap. Then he needs to extend his gap to Equasar by 10 more seconds. So yeah, if there's not a safety car, he's very, very complicated on this one. Yeah, like Baraka says, it should be an easy win for Equasar if there's no safety car to change this game anymore. But yeah, Omar should have it in the bag, at least the P2. The P2 should be safe for Omar, if of course if he doesn't make any other mistake, of course. Meanwhile, Joseph Vesely is already 2.7 behind Buva. Joseph Vesely closing quickly the gap against the McLaren driver. And well, Fossey is trying to stick to the DRS of Omar. Is gonna need a little bit of help because let's not forget Joseph's coming strong. Joseph could be on the fight for the podium as well. Let's not discard him. Let's not forget the tire difference between... Oh, yellow flag. Could that be it? Could that be the safety car? Who's... It's Revenge, but he's managed to recover control over the car, so that's not going to bring any type of safety car to this race. Joseph Vesely nearly at the back of Buva. He is, like I said before, still in contention for the podium. Omar. Oh, yellow flag. That's a crash from who it is? Fossey! It's Fossey who's made a mistake. Oh no, Fossey's thrown away a podium there in a single action. Well, that's Singapore for you, my friends. It's a very, very easy track to make mistakes. You could have Maybe you could think you have the position gain and all, but then a mistake happens and it's game over for you. Revenge has retired in the pit lane. Well, didn't have the will to continue on this race anymore. Now Wilco is gonna be on an attack against Fossey. Joseph is gonna be on an attack against Booba as well. Here comes Wilco. He's gonna try and get the move down the inside of Fossey, gets the overtake done, and that's Wilco up to P6 of the race. And Wilco still meeting traffic in this fight between him and Onion, which is very interesting to see, but he's still chasing after him after all. Wilco could finish on the podium as well. Actually, we have a battle between for the podium between Wilco, Onion, and Joseph and Booba. It's a four-way battle here for P3 for that last spot in the podium. Booba P3 in front of Joseph Vesely. Booba, we know it's a very aggressive driver. Let's just ask RPM about it. Joseph also had a battle between Booba in Australia, and it was also very difficult for Joseph to get past in that occasion. The story may repeat today, and well, may form a four-car train here for P6 of the race. Meanwhile, Dino Bino Bambino in a fight with Sika Loco as well for P7 of the race. Checo says now it's a spicy challenge for Omar to win, but really hard. Yeah, like I said, it's nearly impossible because first of all needs to close up nearly around a second per lap to Quasar, more than a second per lap. Then would need to overtake him and would need to pull away 10 more seconds. And let's not forget Singapore, it's a difficult track to overtake. Fossey now coming out on fresh, hard tires, but gotta feel not very happy after throwing away that podium. That, of course, wasn't sure he was gonna be able to get it, but he was in a very good position to fight for it. And now, well, it's gonna be in a comeback race for him. I don't know where he can try and get. The Williams guys in totally disappeared today in P13 and P14, more than 30 seconds behind the man in front of them. Here comes now Joseph Vesely, is gonna try and get the move done around the outside. Booba will not try and fight this one. Joseph Vesely is moved up into a podium spot. Like Baraka said, it's Joseph on the podium. And well, at least by now, Sims can get an easy run into the podium as it stands. Now we'll see a battle between Buva, Onion, and Wilco for that P4 of the race. I think probably Joseph's gonna start pulling away. Meanwhile, Maha's trying to close up the gap to Dino, though Maha's most likely gonna have to pit again. Those mediums most likely not making it to the end of the race. Well, Buva's still managing to stick into the DRS of Joseph Vesely. Can help him defend for a little bit more laps. I don't know if Joseph's gonna try to do a Sainz. No, actually no. Joseph would need to pull away from Buva to allow his teammate to get through. And now he's pulling away. And now it's gonna be Buva who is gonna suffer the attacks of Onion. Has Buva got DRS? No, he hasn't. Onion has got DRS, of course. Wilco's in the DRS as well. Baraka says, come on, go, let's go, vamos Joseph in Spanish. And now Onion is on the attack of Buba for P4 of the race. Wilco finally meets the back of the driver he's been chasing for the last, for basically the whole race. Buba is gonna go defensive against Onion. Onion thinks it's not the time to make the move yet. Meanwhile, Joseph Vesely starts opening the gap. If Joseph finishes this race on the podium, it's gonna be his third podium of the season. Finishing every race on the podium, it's crucial for the championship battle as well. He's gonna be extending his championship lead, I guess, after this. Well, Buva defending hard here against Onion, but the tires are pretty bad at the moment. Probably Onyan's gonna have a nice run against him into this raid. If it's not here, it's gonna be in the next one. Buva's going defensive. Onyan's gonna think about it around the outside. Will he? He's gonna try to switch back. Has minor contact there with Buva. Following now into the DRS. He's gonna try and get the overtake done all the way around the outside. Buva is gonna try and defend his position down the inside. Not yet the move done for Onyan. And will this allow Sika to close up the gap? Well, let's not forget Sika's been disqualified from the race already. Wilk, oh, Buva coming into the pit lane, something not gone right there. And here comes Wilk, who's gonna think about a move there, but he backs off. Prefers waiting and is not gonna risk it. Yeah, Buva's tires were pretty bad. I don't know if he maybe got a puncture or something, but he's coming to the pit lane for fresh medium tires. Now let's see where he's gonna drop. Omar is chasing Equasar, says Checos, and yes, the gap is now down to 6 seconds. But like I said, first he will need to pass him and then he will need to extend 10 seconds, which is the hard part of the job. That's basically the problem in all this. Even in a safety car, Equasar has no doubt he has to stop, so even a safety car wouldn't change much things. Could actually make it even easier for Equasar to pick up the win. Wilco now battling against Onyan for P4 of the race. A battle between Wilco and Onyan for that P4 spot. I don't think Wilco's gonna be able to close up into Joseph and fight for the podium. But he can try and get past his team. And like I said, these two have been stuck to each other basically the whole race. Nearly stuck. Actually, Wilco's been slowly closing and closing more the gap to him. Never been on DRS range till now. And now he's gonna have his last 5 laps of racing to try and get that overtake done for that P4 spot in the race. Could be Wilco's best result and possibly, in my opinion, my driver of the day. In case he manages to do it, because let's not forget he started at the back due to the quali ban. And now can manage a P4 finish, which would be great for him. Equasar taking it easy there. Getting past one back marker, one of the Williams guys. Fossey's now going to be chasing for RPM, but it's going to be difficult. 6 seconds would need to be closed up in little time. Now RPM battling against Maha for P8 of the race. And RPM could be a menace for Dino here for his own teammate. Well, Maha's not going to be a menace for Dino because of the degraded tires. But it could be a Ferrari fight for P6 of the race. P6 because Sika, like I said, is going to be disqualified from this GP. And with the number of laps remaining, I guess it's impossible that a safety car comes out. And actually, I was talking with Dino and he said before the race, it's impossible that a safety car doesn't come out today. And finally, a safety car didn't come out today, which is crazy. Now Maha at the back of RPM. RPM's managed to get the move done against the Mercedes driver. Now Fossey might try and close up the gap to his teammate. Equasar leading 3.8 seconds in front of Omar. Actually, something interesting to see about this is that maybe even without the time penalty, Equasar was gonna win the race. So there is your answer. I think the one stopper was the right choice, maybe. We will find out, but maybe it was. The only battle we have on track at the moment is the battle between Wilco and Onyan. Everything else seems to be pretty much decided at this point. Maybe RPM could try and close up the gap to Dino, but he's actually losing time against him. Buval probably gonna try and close up the gap to Welp. Welp now gets... Oh, Welp gets a time penalty. Oh, he's... Well, it's gonna lose the place to Booba anyway. Yeah, Checo says the one stop was the solution, and yeah, seems like it was the solution. And at the moment we get a little bit of a chill moment in the race, so why not take this precise moment to check how the Champions League is going. Let's keep following the battle between... Wilco and Onion for P4 of the race. There goes Wilco around the outside. Onion leaves the space to him and Wilco will get the move done. No, he won't. Onion manages a great defense around the outside. Better grip there in the outside of the corner. But it's a nice fight here for that fourth position on this race. Meanwhile, Omar is nearly at the back of Equasar. He's having a little bit of sliding in some corners. Now lost a little bit of time into that final part of the track. Equasar manages to open the gap a little bit more. Well, and if finally Equasar manages to win the race, that would mean so far this season no one has been able to win a race starting from pole position. In Australia, Luca got pole and he didn't win the race. Charlie won. Now in Japan, well, Omar got pole that, of course, after not serving a quali ban, but Joseph won the race. And now Omar's got pole again, but seems like, at least by now, Equasar is gonna win the race unless a catastrophe happens. He will not win this race. The battle between Wilco and Onion continues. Now a battle between teammates also begins. Between Dino and RPM. Dino on a bit older tires now is going to be suffering a little bit against his teammate. Buba getting the move done against Maha. Maha who maybe got a punctured, has he? No, but he's falling a lot of... dropped a lot. Now Buba is going to go all the way there around the outside. Will get the move done. Oh yeah, those tires are totally dead. Tires, totally dead tires by now. There goes Wilco against Onion once again. And now we have a battle here for the lead of the race between Omar and Equasar. A battle that will really mean not much because... actually, the two-stopper was the right call, wasn't it? But Omar messed it up with that 10-second time penalty. Actually, I think both strategies are good, because now it basically depends if you can overtake or not. Depends on a wheel-to-wheel fight. But anyway, Equasar will definitely want to win this one on track. And the gap between them and Joseph is crazy. 31 seconds is the difference these two have made against the rest of the grid. Which is a massive difference. Oh, Omar's crashed it! Omar's crashed it there! What happened there? Omar's in the wall. I missed what happened there. Omar's in the wall. And that's a totally broken front wing for Omar. Is he gonna try and make it to the end of the race like this? Is gonna pit for fresh tires? Well, I don't know what happened there, but yeah, Omar is... I don't know if he's gonna be able to save that... P2 finish. It's gonna be a little bit tricky. The pit stop last, he needs to serve the penalty, plus the... He might actually drop off the podium. Yeah, he may actually drop off the podium. First he's gonna serve the penalty. Now he Yeah, first he's gonna serve the penalty, now he's gonna replace the wing and change the tires. He's gonna be overtaken by Joseph Vesely in the least. No, he's gonna be overtaken by more people. He's gonna be overtaken by Wilco and Onian. Yeah. Well, now it's turned into a battle for the podium between Onian and Wilco. Omar is way too far. He's not gonna be. He's lost the place against Sika Loco as well. He's gonna lose the place against Dino Bino Bambino as well. Dino moving up a place ahead of Omar. Omar actually, no, where is Omar coming out? Oh no, that's a massive disaster. That's a massive disaster. Fossey battling against RPM here. This fight may help Omar a little bit. Motorway has retired from the session. Where is Omar? He's fallen behind Whelp. Oh, that's a big, very unfortunate. Dino Bino Bambino, meanwhile, in P6 of the race, is gonna need to defend against Buva now. Can he do it, though? It's gonna be very difficult to do so, having the older tires. And Equasars won his first race in his IOR career. I'm sorry for not putting the focus on you, my friend, but I'm very happy for your first victory in this league. The man that's been waiting since 2021 for a race win. Since he joined the league, many occasions showed up. Had to face Cucumber, had to face Baraka, had to face Talis. He was there, never got the enough luck to get that win. But today, that streak has finally ended after 4 years, no, 5 years. And finally Aquasar will take his first win in the league. Joseph and Onian completed the podium, has 2-3. Buva finally overtakes Dino. Dino that will finally come to finish in P6 of the race. Omar who will come in P11, and well, that's, like I said, a big disaster from... Oh, when he spun it. Well, from bad to worst for Omar. Checos, Equasar waited 5 years for this day. You are also in that same range, mate, so the win for you can still happen. Look at how much Equasar had to wait. The chance is open there for you, my friend, at any moment. And we're gonna get soon, everyone, for the post-race interviews. Give me just a little second. Equastar says, "Cheers, aliens! It's possible with you. It's possible without you racing this season." Checo says, maybe the double, haha. Once I'll finish my task. Both has on the podium. What a changing turn did have the last part of this GP. Gonna give me a second before the post-race interviews. Seems I had a little thing in here, but I'm gonna fix it very quickly. Just like I said, give me a second to get the drivers in the Discord chat, and of course we still have to go with the national anthems. And that's the national anthem of Vietnam and of Italy for our race winner Equasar and for Racing Bulls, of course, the Italian F1 team. Now let's move on into the post-race interviews, and at the moment I guess we only have Joseph in the party chat. I'm not sure if Equasar race winner is gonna join. I haven't received an answer from him, so I'm not sure if he's coming or not. But let's start with Joseph Vesely once again. So, Joseph, first of all, what a race from you, mate. Even when struggling in qualifying, I gotta say, starting P8 if I'm not wrong, like I said at the beginning of the race, and it's well known by everyone in the league. You're probably, I don't know if maybe the best driver in the whole grid with the best racecraft, so even on a bad quali day in a race with a lot of struggles, you will manage to pick up a great result. And today, P2 I think was much better than I guess you probably expected at the beginning. So, what can you say about your race and especially about being able to extend the? I don't know if extend it in case Equasar is now in P2 of in the standings, but at least get more good points for the championship and stay in the lead for one more round. What can you say about it? Oh, I'm sorry, I made a little mistake there. I had a problem, I think. Yes, I had a little problem. Right, fixing it. I don't know if Joseph's in the voice chat. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Hello, I can. Yeah, I had a...
Yeah, hello.
Hello, could you hear my interview or not? The question?
No, I didn't hear it.
Okay, no worries, I'll repeat everything. So first of all, congratulations for that P2 today. And gotta say, it's maybe more than you were expecting, because after starting P8 in a track like this, where it's very difficult to overtake, it was very difficult to think about a podium, and especially maybe a P2. And gotta say, I think a lot of people know, and I think personally I believe it as well, you're probably the best driver in the grid in terms of racecraft. Even if in a bad day in quali, you will still manage to pick up a great result in the race. And today, even after all these struggles seen on track, you managed to take this P2 in the race finish, which extends your podium streak since race 1, where you haven't gone down the podium, and also can say it's very good points for the championship. So how can you describe this Singapore GP experience from today?
Okay, yeah, thank you. It was very difficult, actually. The qualifying from my side, it wasn't great. My first lap was relatively okay, but then the final lap I didn't manage to improve, but there was still a lot of time on the table. I probably could have improved 6/10, maybe more, something like that. So that was a shame, because Singapore it's difficult to overtake, but when I saw the times I knew, okay, maybe I can fight for P3 if I can get a good strategy and have great pace, but I knew the two top guys were really fast, so I was thinking, like, even if I was top 3 in qualifying, I would probably not be able to stick in the DRS. But then in the race, I think the pace wasn't bad, but it was really slidey. I mean, on the mediums, a lot of people pitted quite early. I didn't want to pit that early because the tires were okay. The percentage was okay, but it wasn't like ideal. It was really sliding. I don't know, they were maybe a little bit overheated, and it wasn't ideal. But I managed to climb up the field a little bit. I think it was quite a patient drive. I didn't want to rush anything. And then I pitted same lap as Equator. I think that was probably the best strategy. And yeah, then I just try to be consistent. Don't get any wing damage or DNF. Possibly you can do that very easily here. No safety cars, so it was pure strategy and pure pace, which is something we haven't had this race because this season, because there was lots of safety cars. But this was surprisingly clean, and I was thinking that it's going to be P3. But at the end, I don't know exactly what happened. I think Omar had wing damage or something, and he pitted. I really wasn't expecting that. And then when I was coming the last corner, I was seeing he's still in the pits. He needs to, of course, serve the 10-second penalty. So I was like, oh, that's probably going to be P2. So I was really happy with that. On pace, it shouldn't have been P2, but luckily we managed to pull through, and it was a great podium and great consistent drive.
Other question I have to ask is another driver that had a similar race than you that finished P3 is basically your new teammate Onian. Also didn't get a great result in quali, but he was following you through most part of the race. Also had some battle with Wilco, who also came very strong at the final part of the race. But I guess since he's still new in the team, you probably haven't talked with him yet about team strategies and stuff. But after seeing today's race, maybe you think you get a solid teammate for the rest of the season and maybe could plan the team strategies and all, because a double podium in his debut with you as teammate I think is very good. And looking forward into what could be the rest of the season, maybe could even be back in the battle for constructors, as you really didn't have a teammate in the first 2 rounds. Well, you had one, but I guess he didn't score a single point. And now with Onian, that seems to be a very solid driver, and Space seems to be very good. What can you say about the coming rounds? You thinking about some planned strategies, maybe team talks before races and stuff?
I mean, I'm very happy for him. I didn't expect that result. He really drove quite similar to me. If we were in the DRS for a lot of laps, and I think it was really great. He was really doing a good teammate for me because he didn't send it from miles away. So he was very consistent. He didn't do any mistake. He pitted 1 lap later than me, so he had it a little bit more difficult because of that. But then he had a little bit fresher tires, so that was good for him, and we were pushing each other, I would say. And I think it was a great race for us and for the next races. I mean, sure, we can maybe share some setups or something like that and work together. So I think in constructors we can be quite strong together. But let's see, it's our first race together, and hopefully we can continue like that to the future.
Now I'm gonna make a question basically about the championship itself. So we've got first Charlie winning in Australia, then you took that win in Japan last weekend, and now Equator wins here in Singapore. And as we've seen, there's much more guys I think in the grid that can be fighting for race wins. So what can you say about this season in general? Because I guess we haven't had a very competitive season in a while. Like, you know, we had that rivalry between Cucumber and Baraka, for example, where both were winning a lot. Then Cucumber and Thales as well. Then maybe you and me in season 10. And last season we had the Moni and Srivatsa fighting mostly for wins themselves. But now I think since a while ago, probably season 4, where we got, I don't know if you remember, but we got 7 different winners in the first 7 races. I think since then we haven't had such competitive season, like having this number of people fighting for wins and that can actually have the pace to fight for the championship. So what's your take on this in general about this 12th season of IOR, and how are you looking forward into the the next 9 rounds. Do you think the championship? You think you can? I know you, of course, believe in yourself that you believe you can win the championship. But how are you looking forward to achieve this dream of this second IOR championship in your career?
I mean, it's really great that we have some great talent here. That is always a great. So the fight will be definitely tough, because I think I'm not the fastest on the pace, or definitely think I'm not the fastest on pace. But I think I have great consistency. So if I can keep going like that, and maybe pick occasional win and get those podiums, then we probably can fight for the title. But let's see. I mean, Equazer and Omar are really fast, faster than me, I would say. So I need to beat them on consistency, and that's going to be tough. But I think that can be actually a good fight and very exciting to watch. And yeah, I mean, we will see.
Well, about the thing you mentioned about the pace, I think that could well be just track related. Because don't forget that last week in Japan, for example, you were much quicker than Equator. Maybe at the beginning, if you remember, you closed up the gap to him, who was in P2 most of the time, but you managed to stick to the back of him. So, well, today he won by more than 30 seconds. So I guess it's basically track related. Maybe he was faster than you today, but we don't know what can be next. And I think that also makes this season very exciting. That you don't have like clear who's gonna be the fastest on each track. Omar was fast in Japan, but you could stick to him into that last part of the race. So maybe you were actually equal on pace. I don't know. Would have to see you on clean air, which I guess we didn't get, or at least you were probably in different strategies. So I think it can be track dependent as well about the pace. But also it's very important when the grid is so close, like you said, to be very consistent. And so far you've done a great job finishing every single race in the podium so far. And well, let's see if you can keep this podium streak into next week. And going to that point, next week we move into Spain, which is the total opposite of Singapore. It's a racing circuit, it's not a street track, and it's basically a very easy track to drive in. And in real life, everyone knows it because, of course, we're having the tests there right now. It's much more difficult to have an accident. There's no real, very tricky corners. There's no walls very close to the track. And it's actually can be very, very close on pace, and I guess you probably are expecting a better result in terms of pace from you coming there. So how are you seeing yourself into the Spanish GP? Do you think that you could be fighting for the win in that one in terms of pace?
I mean, when I go back to the previous question, or something I want to say, I mean, it's only round 3, so we will see into the future. I mean, anyone can have a couple of bad races, and then the championship can swing either way. So we will see. And Spain, I mean, I really like that track. I think the changes that were made to the last chicane, they improved the racing, I would say, and the track is a little bit more flowing. I actually quite liked the tight chicane, but this is probably a little bit better. And I think it's gonna really show the pace there, because like you said, everyone knows the track. And I think the tires are quite difficult there to manage, but we will see. I really enjoy driving on the track, so let's see.
Well, thanks for your time, Joseph. Congratulations again on the P2. It was a great result for the start you got of the race. Once again, great racecraft from you. We already saw in Japan, P12 to P1, and now P8 to P2. So, well, looking forward to Spain next week. Well, congratulations again, and thanks a lot, mate.
Yeah, thank you very much. Cool.
Well, and that's it for today. Thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks Baraka, Chekos, Quasar. Congratulations again in the race win. If I don't think you're in the stream still, but congratulations again in your maiden win. I've been waiting this moment for nearly 5 years. But anyway, once again, thanks to everyone else watching the stream. Pitbull, Dino, I don't know if you're there, but thanks to you as well. Thanks once again, Chekos, Baraka. It's great to have you back, or old school guys. And well, see you next week in Spain. And well, enjoy the Champions League if it's still not over. I guess still got some minutes to go. So goodbye.